Sorry. She's here in Phoenix, Scott.
Oh, she is? Okay.
Yeah, I'm here in Central Phoenix.
Okay.
We're going to wait a couple minutes just to make sure everybody who wants to be on is going to get on. So appreciate all of your patience.
Here, right here. It says start video. There it is. Okay.
I'm sorry, this is an emergency.
Good to see you, Jen.
You too, Sean. Miss you.
Miss you too. Charlotte, long time no talk. Andy, I see you. And I see you now, Patrick.
Hello.
Patrick.
You're on mute, my friend.
How are you, Miss Brittany?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing okie dokie.
Hi, Mom.
Hey, Joan.
Hello.
I am just so moved by all of you. I mean, it is so good to see so many faces I haven't seen in so long.
Would you propose it in my whole
This is really cool.
We'll still wait another minute or so just to make sure everybody else who wants to participate gets on, and then we'll get ourselves started. If you haven't muted already, just if you would mute, that would be great until you have a time to speak, and then feel free to do so. We're trying to stay cool here at 116 degrees at Phoenix. So we're hibernating. Got a couple more that came on. All right, I think we have a good space here, Patrick. I just wanted to, welcome everyone and how much we appreciate you all participating today. It would mean a lot, as you know, to Mom and to Gloria, Gigi, whatever she was to you, and just being able to have this time to come together. If you notice that several of us, my brothers and the family, are wearing red, it is in her honor because for those of you that know her, red was her color. So we all decided to wear some red on, on her behalf. And I want to make sure that, one, that this is recorded. So if there's somebody from someone that may not have been able to get on here, you all have my email address. You can be able to get that, and I can send that out to you if they want to share at a different time. But I'm going to go ahead and hand it off. I'm Sean. I am her youngest son, for those of you that don't know, but most of you know me around here, I think. And I'm going to hand it off to you, Patrick. And Patrick is our reverend. He is our pastor from our church here that Mom and I went to over at Community Church of Hope.
Thanks, Sean. Gloria was very special to us, and we got the privilege of having her move into Phoenix and be a part of our congregation, and what a privilege and honor it was. So I just want to welcome you to this celebration of life, because that's really what it is today. We're just going to celebrate her life together. Gloria touched all of our lives just in so many positive ways, and we come together today just to celebrate that she's been a part of our lives and that she's made a real difference in our lives. Gloria showed us how to love and how to laugh, how to give, how to challenge, and how to stand up for what we believe. She always put it on the line when she was talking to you, and then she let you know how much she loved you. Memorial services are really extremely important to our community, where they are an opportunity for family and friends and church partners to say goodbye and to acknowledge our grief at the loss of one who was held so dear. Would you pray with me? God, you are our creator. You are the author of life. Life is a precious gift. We come today to commemorate and honor a life that is very precious to us. We lift up our sadness and our grief to you. We ask that you would comfort us in our pain and bring us an abundance of your gentle, healing mercies. May we find peace in our memories and joy in knowing this life has made a difference in the world and in our world. Amen.
Amen.
Gloria was a mother to the people of our congregation at Community Church of Hope. She was open to new experiences, and she embraced all in her path while learning new things about people and diversity. She laughed, she questioned, she probed, she loved, she embraced, she cried, and she pondered. She always had an encouraging word and was always honest about how she felt and what was going on with her. She was much loved by the congregation who welcomed her with open arms, and they were received with open arms. I can say that she never was at a loss for words about her feelings, her praise, and her likes, and her dislikes. She brought love to so many in so many ways, and we as a congregation have learned to love unconditionally, even better as a time that we had with her. We learned so much from her, and we have so much to give as a result of her gifts to us. I want to say that we want to thank everybody who's really helped to fill in memories, pictures, and so on and so forth on Life website. And if you haven't been there to look at that, please make yourself available to do that and leave some pictures or leave some memories on there so that others can share in the thoughts that you have and the memories that you have. So Sabrina and Brittany, I'm going to go ahead and pass this on to you to take care of what you're going to do next with the obituary and so forth.
Patrick. My name is Brittany. For all of you who don't know, I'm one of Gloria or Gigi's granddaughters. I wanted to read to you today a little bit of what I wanted to share with everyone about this wonderful woman. There was beauty in her eyes. There was faith in her heart. There was knowledge in her mind. There was humor in her smile. There were love in her hands. And now I'm going to pass it to Sabrina so she can share her part.
Hi everyone, I'm Sabrina, Gloria's granddaughter, and this is what I wrote for her obituary. Mother to more than just her own, dear friend to everyone else, Gloria dedicated her life to teaching us all and loving God. Our angel on earth is now our angel in heaven. She will forever be missed.
Thank you, Brittany and Sabrina. I think you did a fantastic job putting this together and sharing this part about your grandmother. For many of you have not seen this, but some of you have, but this is a video that we made earlier in the year when she passed away, and I just wanted to share this video and how much it meant to all of us.
Tell me, what does it look like in heaven? Is it peaceful? Is it free like they say? Does the sun shine bright forever? Have your fears and your pain gone away? 'Cause here on earth it feels like everything good is missing since you left. And here on earth everything's different. There's an emptiness. Oh, I do in heaven? Are your days filled with love and light? Is there music? Is there art and adventure? Tell me, are you happy? Are you more alive? 'Cause here on earth it feels like everything good is missing since you left. And here on earth everything's different. There's an emptiness. Oh, I hope you're dancing in the sky, and I hope you're singing in the angels' choir, and I hope the angels know what they have. I bet it's so nice up in heaven since you arrived, since you so nice up in heaven since you arrived, since you arrived. Does it look like in heaven? Is it peaceful? Is it free like they say? Tell me, what does it look like in heaven? Is it peaceful? Is it free like they say? Does the sun shine bright forever? Have your fears and your pain gone away? 'Cause here
I know there's a lot there. But to me, every time I see that video, it just opens my heart. So I hope you got as much out of it as I did. And I now want to turn this over to Carla, and she's going to share for a moment. Carla?
That's a hard thing to follow. Thanks. I want to share a verse. It's Proverbs 17:6, and it just fits her so well. Children's children are a crown to the aged, and parents are a pride of their children. Gloria always, without fail, in every situation, every time we got together, she talked about her children and she talked about her grandkids without fail every time. She was very invested in every detail of their lives. And I didn't want to say too much, but I kind of know probably too much about all you. Yeah. And she just loved all of you so much. And she wanted our prayers. She covered them very much for every detail. So that's what we did. We prayed for everything you guys went through. Scott, yeah. So many prayers. Sabrina, being pregnant, going through all of that, and just Brittany and entering into college, and I think it was Arizona State, I remember, and just all these things, and Dante, and just watching the pictures as he grew, and she's so handsome now, and every detail is just amazing. I'm sorry I know so much about you, and we prayed so much, and there wasn't a time where she didn't ask everyone to pray for each one of you, and it's very impressive. You were her life, and she really loved her family, and she was grateful for every one of you and her sons. Very proud of them. One of my special memories I really want to share with you guys, and I just loved, is we had a weekly Bible study for a few years at my house. And she would come in with her heavy Bible, always complaining of neck pain. It's like, wonder why, Gloria. And her Bible was so heavy, and it went with her every weekend, every week. She'd come in just like Seinfeld, and she looked like Kramer. She'd come in as fast as she could, slam her hand down and her heavy Bible down on the table and say, Carla, I almost didn't make it. You wouldn't believe. And then there'd be a story to go with it. It was hilarious. She always just had something to say, and she didn't realize she was the life of the group. She really was the core. She held us together, and her structure, her comments, and just, she just made us all want to get together every week, and she really held us together and said you couldn't live without our group, which made us feel very valued. I also remembered that I wrote a couple things down that a lot of people felt very valued and comforted when she was around, that she could share anything with them. And I also remember the most introverted people, even a shy teenage boy, with my son was shy, would open up to her. Anybody who was introverted would just open up to her because they knew they could rely on her. She was their strength, and that was a gift she had. And we talked a lot about how to get that, but she had it natural, and she was a gift. She was a joy and comfort in my life, and to so many others who loved her. She had a lot of strength and compassion for people, and I have missed her tremendously, and today especially. And she also gave me the gift of you guys in my life, and I really treasure that. I really do. So, and I'm going to hand it over to Sean.
Thank you, Carla.
Thank you.
So poetic. And she did have so much that she connected with so many people. And Patrick, you said it best. It was hard for her often. She's like, I just don't know what people see in me. I'm like, Mom, truly, we drive home every Sunday from church, and she'd say the same thing. I just don't know. You know, at our church, I was always waiting for her for 20 minutes. You want to know why? Because people were surrounded by her that were she was mother to them and just needed to talk to them. And I just don't understand. When I think about what you would write or share about your mom, and how do you keep it into a small space or small sentence. And I really put a lot of thought into it, and I really leveraged something that I had given her. And when we were packing things up, we found my mom, she saved everything you sent her. I'm not kidding you. Every card, every note, every letter, we found it all. And there was a letter that Nick found and gave it to me, and it was a letter that I wrote to her when she moved here. But I want to share with you first, before I share the letter, is when I think of my mom, I cannot help think of resiliency. This woman was fiercely independent. And those of you that know her, know that part about her. But as I reflect on her life, for me personally, I got to the last 2.5 years of her life here in Arizona, from her living right down the street, is what I'm reflecting on. Many of you know, I've always had a good relationship with my mom. One thing that transpired in this move to Arizona was a level of getting to know my mom that would never have occurred if she had not moved. You ask, what's the difference? We had many conversations that would not have taken place anywhere else. She was always great to talk to and to share your challenges and your accomplishments with. She too opened up with me to share some deep emotion and feelings that I had never heard or experienced with her before. She was beginning to let her armor down. We helped one another more than I can ever think would have happened when we helped each other. When she moved into Arizona, I got her a welcome home card for her to welcome her to the next chapter in her life. To give you an understanding of the level of this relationship for me, I'm going to read you the letter that I wrote her. And it goes like this. Welcome home. Dear Mom, welcome home. Who would have thought life's journey would be so uncertain? Here we are today, beginning anew. At least God had options for you. What a last 2 years this has been. I've been waiting to write down a letter for you for quite some time. My thoughts were, when should I? Is this the right time? Yeah, time is right now. As we've traveled this journey together, I've learned so much about you and you about me and life. Many times, just like you, of the last 2 years, I didn't like what life transpired to be or how it played out. I know you have many more dances to have in life. I've spent a lot of time processing what that new dance could look like or be like. One thing for me is I am so glad that you're here. It was a lifted weight off my shoulders I cannot describe, just to know I could be here to see you, to help you when a need arises. And for those of you who know my mother, you know what her response would have been. I don't want to have to need someone or anything. I so understand, but in life, we all have a need for each other. I also wanted to say thank you for trusting me and Nick and Scott and Sabrina over the last 2 years. All we ever wanted was for you to be safe and happy. Happiness, I know, needs to be redrawn, looking at what is new and what is possible. I'm looking forward to taking that journey with you and when you want to. Well, you're here now. You can cook an egg in the morning on your own, enjoy your kitty, and recreate a new space for yourself. Thank you for being willing to take this step in your life. I'm right here with you now. Nick, Scott, Sabrina, Brittany, we're all here, and we welcome you home. With deepest love, your son, Sean.
Oh, that was great.
That is what my mom meant to me. And now I'll turn it over to Scott.
I just wrote down a few things here. If my cat will let me look, if my cat will let me say something. She saw you crying, Sean. Every time, remember I said my cat always goes around. You started crying and she came over to sit and look at you. It says, I thought I knew my mom until she got sick from a stroke. I spent 7 days, 24 hours a day with her. For the first 2 days, she told me what an alcoholic I was to her. And then she went on and kept telling me how stupid I was. I know now I deserve it. The rest of the time we became best friends and started to know each other. And thanks for Sabrina during these times. Mom was very sick. Sabrina was there every day helping her, loving her and helping her, and she loved every minute of it. Then she got better and we moved her to Arizona. At first she did not like it, but after a while she understood what we were doing. I love all the times I spent with her, and she told me she loved it too. Thanks to Sean and Nick helping me get there, I couldn't do it on my own. I finally got to know my mom and I loved it very much. And we miss her a lot. Scott.
It's awesome. Love it, Scott.
I love it too.
All right, bro, that was great.
Yeah.
That was great. You know, Mom was I mean, there's a lot. She's been out to Hawaii a few times. I know Verna was with her most of the time, and it was great to see him out here. We visited her out there in San Diego, Phoenix, you know, and I think 6 months ago today is the day she passed. So we are actually at the 6-month mark when she passed away. You know, we were all there. I mean, it went fast, but she's not in misery. She's not in pain, any of that anymore. So Mom had a saying to all of us kids growing up was, "I'll always love you, but I don't like you right now."
Yeah, she said that to me.
It's true.
That stuck with us through our life, and just to know that she loved us. And I really didn't have much to say. There's too much to put into a lifetime, but Mom was always there for me, always there for all of us kids. She just had her way of showing it differently, and appreciate every way she did. Me and Scott weren't the easiest ones to train and take care of, but we calmed down. All three of us did.
Yeah.
It's good to see the whole family in one place. It's really good to see everybody. And this is the hardest is I haven't seen
You
my
got it,
four
Dad.
kids in one place in a long time. Sabrina, Dante, Jeremiah, and Nicholas. Just doesn't get better than this. Love you guys.
Love you too, Dad.
Sorry, Sabrina. It's on you.
Is it my turn?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Hi, everybody. My name is Sabrina again, and I am one of Gloria's favorite granddaughters. Grandma was always so kind and so wise and cheerful to everyone. She lit up every room she walked into. She was patient enough to listen to our stories, compassionate enough to always be there, and brave enough to put us in our place. I thought that I had so much time left with her. There isn't a day that goes by that I don't think about picking up the phone and calling her. She was always just a phone call away for advice, a good laugh, or just to listen. Although there are no phones in heaven, I will continue to talk to her. I can still hear her answer, "Hi, Breenie," like she's been waiting for my call. The advice she would say most often is, just put it in God's hands. That simple and powerful advice was just what I needed to hear. I'm going to miss her wonderful sense of humor and her joyful laugh. But what I'm going to miss the most is how much love she showed me, and all of the memories we had yet to share. I spent so much of my childhood at Grandma's house. She took me to school, church, on walks with Great Grandma Pearl. She took care of me. And I'm so fortunate to have had the opportunity to take care of her too. I got to know her likes, dislikes, and her routine. I like to believe she trusted me wholeheartedly the way that I've always trusted her. I will always remember that her favorite holiday was Thanksgiving. For most of my life, her favorite color was blue and then suddenly turned to red. Hence, everyone wearing red today. Her favorite colors were carnations, and you can always find her chocolate brownies in the fridge and Grandma sitting in her favorite chair. She always made me feel loved and appreciated. We don't always have the chance to choose our last words that we would say to our loved ones. These were my last words to her before she went to heaven. Here's the hard part. Dear Grandma, I really do miss you so much. I'm so lucky to have you and so sad to lose you. You are the one person I have always called for advice, laughs, loves, or just to talk. Thank you for always listening and understanding. Thank you for making each of us feel special. Thank you for being the glue our family needs. Thank you for teaching me to love, pray, enjoy the little things. I am so blessed to call you my grandma. You will forever be in my heart, our hearts, thoughts, prayers, and memories. You are my angel, and I love you forever. I held it together. And now I would like to introduce Grandma's other favorite granddaughter and my favorite cousin, Brittany.
Sabrina. So today,
You're on mute, honey.
hello everyone.
Yeah, it's all right.
Thank you for being a part of this wonderful celebration for my grandma, Gloria Swiderski. I wanted to share with you today a letter I decided to write in her honor of what kind of person she was to me. Dear Grandma, today I sit here writing this letter and you are not here. Words of sadness fill my mind, for you are not by my side. Luckily, I can hear you whispering in my ear that it is going to be okay, that you will always be in my heart. When I think of where you are at this very second, I know you were sitting right next to God, watching over all of us. My grandma. Grandma, you were the one that always told me not to be afraid and to be brave. You were one of the most courageous women I knew. I looked up to you in ways you won't even know. As I remember our time together, I think about planting flowers on your hill, walking around Claremont, watching crime shows, playing cards, going to Boomers. Yes, I got my grandma to miniature golf with me. Getting Taco Bell tacos, going to church, getting ice cream after Wednesday service, or simply just talking about life. We did a lot of talking in the past couple of years. I'm so grateful you moved close by. Whether it was playing Kings in the Corner, eating in your place, or having a conversation with you were some of my most favorite moments. Gigi, thank you for the experiences. Thank you for the laughs. Thank you for the advice. And most importantly, thank you for all the love. You were a light in the world, and you are now a shining star in heaven. Until we meet again for a taco, I miss you dearly. All my love, Brittany.
Oh,
And I want to give it over now to Dante, as he has some words to share.
Hello, everybody. I'm Dante. I'm a grandson, and I was on the receiving end of that statement. I love you. I just don't like you right now. I was always getting into trouble, but Grandma was always there, even when I got out of the military, and I had no idea what I wanted to do. And I remember parked on the side of the road, and I called her, and she's like, well, you could always come back here, but whatever you want to do. And we just talked for a little bit, and after that, it really calmed me down. But I didn't call Grandma as much as I should have on these last years, and that really hurts me, and I deal with that. But she was always there to help me read with different color aluminum foil or plastic wrap, different color plastic wrap we use. Just everything you guys said, from the Rocky Road ice cream after church on Wednesdays to road tacos up the street, and just everything. I miss her. I know we all miss her, and I love her dearly. Yeah.
It's awesome, Dante. Thank you.
yeah.
And there's so many great heartfelt things to share. You know, how do you box it up into a 1 hour or less or what have you? And it's hard, but it is so gratifying just knowing how much she's affected all of you in so many ways, family, friends. We want to open it up for others to share too. And I know that, and I'm not sure Jeremiah or Nicholas have any specific things to share, but I'm going to open it up now. And if you can share, just unmute yourself and share for anybody that has something that they'd like to share about Mom.
Well, she was a spiritual mother to me.
Awesome. She was to so many.
You know what, and Sean, every day that I called her, because I talked to her every night and stuff like that, even though it was tough and she yelled at me a bunch of times, I still love talking to her every night, no matter what, no matter if she was mad at me or not. And I am so happy I did that for the last 3 years of my life, you know, every night, no matter what, talk to her. So.
That was Scott's, that was a huge heavy lift right there for us, and Nick and I, as we all worked together to help her. And that's something that Scott did a lot too. He came down but he called her every day, and she would look forward to that call every night. And it was very helpful in the process of transition for her here in Arizona.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I told her I would every day, so. And she enjoyed it, waiting for it every day. And now I miss her and I wish I could call her. And you can't.
She boasted to her friends about how much she got to talk to you.
Yeah, I loved it too. Even though sometimes she'd be mad and really not much say much, but she would be, she's always opinionated, so.
Rightfully so, right? In some case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'd call Sean and go, God, she's mean to me today.
She loved it. She loved
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, she's mad about being over there now. We need to go over there and talk to her.
That's awesome. Who else?
I think about Gloria, Sean, and yeah, how do you put it in a few words? She was tough. She was real. And the thing that just is so heavy on my heart is she cared. And that is why people are drawn to her. There was no doubt her love for her family. I mean, we all saw that, heard that, the prayers, the concern. I think it is such a blessing that she had you all and was able to move to Arizona. What a blessing for her, as I'm sure it was for you. But I mean, she was someone you could go to and she would tell you like it is. She was, and that's what we need. You know, it's like we didn't always like it, Scott, maybe what you were saying, but it's what we needed to hear because she loved us. That's what she did. And, you know, she just her concern for people was genuine. And I know of a certain, you know, couple of people that I had told her about. And I mean, the next thing you know, your mom was like reaching out to this person and, you know, help them out of a desperate situation and change their life, because I think she changed people's lives. She helped give direction and stability, and they always knew, whether they're Dante, honey, on the side of the road in the car, call her up. She's always there. I knocked on her door one time without even warning. Come in, here's a 7-Up and sit down, because she just was someone you knew you could go to and you could talk to her about anything.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of people like Gloria. I mean, she was a very special lady, and I feel so sad that I lost touch with her over the last number of years, but she made an impact on me and on a couple of very good friends of mine that will last a lifetime.
Yeah.
That's what it's about, right?
Yeah.
For me, I can't see or have a hot dog without thinking of Gloria, because I'd go over to the Beatitudes, we'd have hot dog lunch and play Kings in the Corner together.
Yeah.
She did love her hot dogs.
Yeah, she did.
That's awesome.
I wrote something. May I share, please?
Yeah.
Okay. 13 years ago, I came to California in pursuit of happiness, to be with the girl I love, to grow together, because I knew that one day she would be my wife. One of the best things that come with the love we share was the family we share. I was so nervous to meet Sabrina's family when I first came out until I met Grandma Gloria. Her character and hospitality had a familiar resemblance to that of my own family. And I knew I was right where I belong, because Gigi made me feel like I was already family. She would say, make yourself at home, help yourself to a drink, and make sure you take some candy, because I couldn't eat all of them, so I'm gonna need your help. She always made sure she was stocked up on peach rings. Between those and word searches, I honestly believe we had a secret rivalry. One thing's for certain is we both love KFC. I remember whenever me and Haven would visit Gigi, I would ask her what she wanted for lunch, and she would say, I think you know. And off to KFC we went. Gigi had a very mesmerizing smile. It was genuine. She had a big heart, so big that even her foreign exchange students called her mom, because that's the type of effect she had on people. I miss you, Gigi. I still look down your street at your house every time I'm headed to Home Depot or Target. I love you and I miss you, Gigi, and I will never forget you. Everything about you is forever imprinted in my heart. Love your grandson, Jim.
All right. That's good.
That's awesome. That's good. Thank you, James. Jim.
Yeah.
So Sean and family, can you hear us? We are gathered here at Beatitudes campus.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Oliver. Yeah, go ahead.
We are not set up to be able to have each of our faces on a line there, but I have with me dear friends and neighbors of Gloria when she moved here to Arizona and became part of our community. Mae Finley and Amelia Michael and Madonna Van Wolfen and Mr. Richard Probst. Also Linda Wells is here, and I'm Nancy Splain. Charlene Santee was going to try to be here, as was Florette Gauthier, and they were not able to be here today. But those of us who are gathered, when we're hearing your family share, even though we knew her relatively for a short time, she made that same kind of impact with all of us. She might have initially been a stranger here, but she was the one who was able to engage the neighbors, and many of them have shared with me how often, you know, day or night, anytime, getting together in the hallways or in one another's apartments for good conversation, for sharing deeply, for playing cards, for having that joy and that resilience through life, and then also that wonderful deep understanding. So we all here feel it a real privilege that Gloria, or how most of us called her Gigi, touched our lives. We want to extend to all of you a very, very deepest sympathy, but we know that this kind of matriarch lives on for the rest of our lifetimes and into future generations. And Sandy Thompson is also here today. Sandy now lives in Beatitudes campus also, but she and I and Sean were neighbors at a time. So I know that she is also sending her love too. So thank you so much for having us be a part of this beautiful celebration of a beautiful life.
Nancy, that was, I mean, poetically touching. And I just so all of you know the impact that Nancy had for my mom, or for mom. So Nancy was my neighbor, and I still like to consider them all my neighbors still. But Nancy is the coordinator there that greets and brings people into Beatitudes. And mom was having a hard time in the transition. And I will tell you, one person sparked the conversation, that was Nancy, that they figured mom really liked Nancy and can relate to Nancy. So then it gave her a next step of being able to be, okay, maybe this place is okay. And Nancy was really resilient and stopping by and seeing her, talking to her. So Nancy, do know how much impact you had on her as well.
And I wanted to say thank you to everyone for Beatitude, for helping them. Especially you, Amelia Earhart, from across the hallway. Every time I saw you, you were always at my mom's house. And thank you, all Beatitude, for everything you did for it. We enjoyed every minute we came there. I always had fun every time I went there and saw all you guys. So good food, too.
Yes.
We'll miss you guys.
When I was growing up, when I was in high school, my grandmother lived on Burl. And she would tell me about her neighbor Pearl, who had a daughter about my age. And so in the 70s, when that daughter moved next door to me, it was just like, wow, what a coincidence.
Yeah.
Gloria was my neighbor for 40 years. I think it was 40 years. I tried to count, but
You're right. Yeah.
it's been about 40 years. And everything that you've all said about her is very, very true. She truly had a magnetic personality. People were drawn to her, and she said it like it was. I mean, she told you what she thought, but she did it very kindly. She was a really very, very special lady, and I have missed her since she's been gone. And you're right, it was so very hard for her to give up her independence. I mean, I saw how she tried to hide things, and but bless you, you were all perseverance, and you got her to be where she needed to be. And I know how hard it was for her. I can relate to that very much. Jim, what you said about her calling her exchange students, they called her mom. I mean, they related to her, and she related to them, and they truly were her mom here in the United States. And she was so good to them, and they were good to her. One of my very, very special memories of her is when Larry was so very, very sick, and it was a really difficult time. She sent me a card in the mail. She didn't say, she just wrote the sweetest little note, and that it came on a day when I really needed to hear those words and know that she was thinking of me and praying for us. That's probably my very, very special memory of her. So I am grateful for her and knowing her and being part of her life.
You helped a lot, Belle, so thank you for sharing that. But you also were a very helpful neighbor to her, even in these last few years when things weren't so great. You were there, and on behalf of Scott, Nick, and I want to say thank you for going to check on things and all of those little pieces that were so important to us as well. And on another note, though, I did not know that your family or you knew her from down the street on Burl. I had no clue. That's new to me. I don't know if Nick, Scott, did you know that?
I didn't know.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
Hey.
Hi.
So there were mom and dad. There are 4 of us Grubbs children growing up. And I remember the day you guys moved in next door because all 3 of you boys put your heads over the fence. And instantly is like, I don't think I'm going to like these 3 boys living next door. But I loved your mom. And I would feel sorry for her because she was in this house with only boys, and she was so pretty, and her blonde hair was always so gorgeous, and she was so sweet to all of us, and we did love you boys. But that first day, it was like, poor Gloria, she has no women in her house. But I loved, we grew up and you all moved away and we moved away, but coming back to visit and seeing little Sabrina come over and play with our own children was a sweet memory. And even beyond, seeing Gloria take her walk every day with her cute blonde hair, always wore a tank top, always wore her little bag. Yep, little bag, little white pants, and always her flip-flops. She always took her long walk with her flip-flops on. But just such a lovely love, such a big heart, always from the very first day. So thank you for sharing your mom with us.
All right,
thank you, Lisa. That was awesome. You talk about that fanny pack. I mean, who could sport a fanny pack that like actually had style? And she did. I'm like, really? I forgot about that.
Guys, you know that Gloria was my sister, my friend, all of my life. And we raised you kids together. I didn't want to cry.
I remember growing up and every Friday night playing marbles and going over for cards and hanging out with you boys, and mostly Sean, but you know, I think Nick was around a little bit.
Well, you had your first crush on Nick.
Well, you know. And I went to my prom with Sean, so.
There you go, exactly.
Anyway, we'll miss it.
For those of you that don't know, so the dairy Ironfield, so Verna is the one who just shared, and Marty, and there's Derry. But Verna, for those of you that don't know, many of you that know her, obviously a very close friend that we spent, as they shared lots of time together growing up. So very, very, very close friend. Still a very close friend. All of you are. And will continue to be.
Anytime you're in Claremont, you can just swing by the house and she'd be there, and you could just stop by for 10 minutes or an hour and just hang out and have a good conversation. And have some candy. She always
There you
liked
go, yeah, the candy, always the candy.
I'm glad that, Jim, you talked about the peach rings, because I bought some not too long ago, and I cannot have one without thinking of her. Yeah. So I'm Derry, and Aunt Gloria, and the last several years, she used to have my dad come over and do all of the handyman fix-it projects, but then after a while she started calling me. She preferred to have me come over to do various odd jobs for her. And my favorite time would be when we'd sit down for lunch. Half the time she'd go to Velarte's and get us tacos. That was another, at least for me, a favorite place that she'd like to go, because those tacos were greasy and she could handle those. We'd have lunch and we'd sit down and just sit and chat and talk about, what Bible studies we were doing at our churches and what we were learning. And it was just such a sweet time to visit with her.
Those times meant a lot to her, Derry. So you talk about when you drop by. Oh, Derry dropped by. And Derry is taking care of the house once it's ready for sale. So she and her husband are going to help us out with that. So, and you're still maintaining it, technically.
And for years, most of you know, if you were ever in her house, everything was white, polar bear white. Every single wall was white, because I think the house that she had in the beach area, I called it Technicolor throw up. Every room was a different crazy bright color, so she was a white walled lady for years until she let me finally paint the hall bathroom, which was a nice pale yellow. And then she's like, ooh, I like that. And then she let me paint the backsplash area in her kitchen, and I think that was the red. And then she went, ooh, I like that. And then it moved on to her bathroom and got blue. So I was instrumental in getting her into color, at least in her house. And then she found spray paint.
Yeah.
And started painting vases and baskets yellow, and then it was red, and everything was spray painted red for the accent color.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, she was just such a joy to visit with.
I thought it was great. Thank you for sharing. We're almost close to time, but is there anybody else that had anything else they would like to share?
This is Haven. He was the originator of the nickname Gigi, or I'd like to think he was. She didn't want to be called Great Grandma Gloria. She thought that was too many G's. So technically she's GGG, but that's too much too. So this is Haven, and he has something to say.
We love that. You called her Gigi, and it tagged on well because it went right to the Beatitudes as Gigi too. No, but I'd say Gloria. They're like, Gloria who? Gigi? Oh, Gigi.
Yeah.
I love Gigi.
She loves you too. Well, I can't thank you enough. It means so much that you all are here. And, we'll have Reverend Patrick will wrap us up, but I just want to say over the years, and it's just hard to think about. I mean, Bill, you thought 40 years there, and I'm thinking it is 40 years, and being at that house plus probably, and just how long we've known so many of you, and how we'll continue to have the relationships that we have. But this time of you guys spending this time on here means a lot to us. And she's right here in the room with us. she appreciates it too. So I just want to say thank you and that we love all of you. And Patrick, I'm going to turn it over to you.
You know, so many of you talked about her love of the Bible studies and discussions and so on and so forth. Church was so important to her, and the preaching was very, very important to her. And we were talking about how honest she could be. And she always let me know there were several preachers in our church that preached sporadically, and I preach most of the time, but sometimes I'm on vacation. And she let me know that she always thought I did a good job, but she liked Richard best. So I just want you to know she always had her opinions, and she told me she loved me, but she liked Richard best when he preached. So, so I wanted to share because of all that she had, Carla and Derry was talking about, all we're talking about her love of scripture, love of Bible study, and so on. So one day I asked her at the end of church, I said, well, Gloria, I know you've been in church a lot of years, and I said, I'd just like to know what one of your favorite scriptures are, or what some of your scriptures are. And I thought I'd never get her stopped. She couldn't always tell me where they were in the Bible, but she could quote them. She could say, I love this one, I love this, I love that, I love that. So I just thought I'd share Psalm 23 because she did say Psalm 23 in that list, and she knew exactly where that was. So from the King James Version, which I have a feeling she used a lot of her life, I'll just share Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies, and thou anointest my head with oil, and my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. I have a poem that I'd like to share that I think sums up so much of what we've all said so far. A death has occurred and everything has changed. We are painfully aware that life can never be the same again, that yesterday is over, that relationships once rich have ended. But there's another way to look upon this truth. If life now went on the same, without the presence of Gloria, we could only conclude that her life we remember made no contribution, filled no space, and meant nothing. The fact that Gloria has left behind a place that cannot be filled is a high tribute to her. Life can be the same after a trinket has been lost, but never after the loss of a treasure. Would you pray with me? Eternal living Spirit, we know that in death, life is changed, not ended. We weep because of our own loss. Help us to remember that your presence is always here. Support us through all the confusing feelings that we experience in our grief and our mourning. Enable us to be patient with ourselves when the pain returns, and confirm within us a living faith in your abiding presence, which will always be with us today and forever. Almighty God, we trust your love and mercy and believe in the promise of your presence with us always. In the name of God the Creator, Jesus the Christ, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. And now may God bless you and keep you. May God's face shine upon you and give you peace. Amen.
Love you all.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, everyone.
Aloha.
Beautiful.